What's up everyone? AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust here with today's recap video. I hope you had a great trading day. I was a little concerned about the day in the pre-market because it just really seemed like there was some low volume and it was difficult to put together a watch list, which we'll talk about in a second. But overall, despite some concerns, which I'll also mention in the recap, today was a solid day. So let's talk about it. This is today's watch list. I post this every morning between 9 and 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. If you want to make sure to catch that, go ahead and give me a follow at AJ Tabayan. So as I mentioned in the intro, I just felt today was, as I wrote here too, slim pickings because of low volume in the pre-market. But I narrowed it down. We did have MGM, which is not usually a great intraday trader, but it definitely had some news catalysts. I also put Facebook and MARA on there based off of their daily charts. I felt they were at key levels and could be interesting if volume came in. And then on the secondary watch list, I had LUV, BABA, and Oxy, all as continuation plays. They were definitely movers yesterday. And then I had DKNG because of all the stocks I was watching. It was the only one that had a slightly elevated volume. So I put that on there in case it really woke up at the open. So to give a quick overview of the day, I only took 4 trades today, which I feel really good about because when I started this whole process of limiting my trades to 6, I had a lot of trouble early on, to prevent myself from over trading. And now I just find myself quite patient and again, not finding that I don't really need all 6 trades to have a decent day. Now, I hope that continues and I hope that becomes the norm, but at least right now, today and yesterday, it's definitely positive that I'm feeling. So I had 75% win rate. It was definitely a green day. So let's talk about the trades. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what my concern was. And that was the SPY. On the SPY, you'll see here on the 5-minute chart. Let me back this up a bit. Sorry. I didn't cue this up properly. Okay, so you can see that SPY really just traded in the range most of the day. So you can see here's it never broke through pre-market high, and then it pretty much stayed within this range all day, except where at the end of the day where it finally dipped down. So anytime the SPY trades within a pretty tight range, I've found, at least in the past, that my trade book strategies have had some trouble, which is also one of the other reasons I've been working on some different entry strategies like the ambush entry, so that I'm able to still capitalize on days like today. And I guess today, fortunately, it did work. So the first trade I took today was on MARA. And MARA is just one of those stocks where particularly at the open, it can really, during the price discovery, it can really move in both directions, and it's difficult on the days where it's not trending, where it doesn't immediately pick a direction. You could get chopped out. And the first trade of the day, and on top of that, MARA can have a pretty high spread for at least my comfort level. And anyways, I tried to be a little bit patient here with MARA, although I did take my first trade within the first couple minutes. You can see here I went low. I went short at the break of I even waited for the bottom of the wick when I normally wait for the break of the body of the initial candle. But I went short when it broke the bottom of the wick of this candle. Now I will say that with 1 minute ORBs, I find that when the first 1 minute candle is a larger candle, whether it's red or green like this, I find that with the first entry, the first breakout, it doesn't usually continue on. And now as I look back, I probably should have waited for this, to pull back a little bit and give me maybe a bit of a better entry But anyways, I did take this short, and you can see it wicked down, but almost never really went in my direction. Came back and stopped me out. So that was nearly a 1R loss on that particular trade. And then I was looking around for some opportunities, but like I said, I didn't really see much that I could take. I think because I was trading this, I also missed a couple of opportunities, and I didn't want to chase. So you can see here on MARA that it came back to the opening price right up here. It wicked off of the previous day close. Set a new high of day, but it failed to hold that, hold there, and then proceeded to, sell off again. So I was watching it, and I felt that, and this is the opening range low of the body of the first 1 minute candle, but this is pre-market low, and I felt that if it went, if it pushed below that, especially after throwing these upside down hammer candles here, that it could continue to go push lower. So I went short at the break of pre-market low, and you can see it immediately went in my direction, and I ended up catching the 2R profit target, right down there. Now, I mentioned that MARA can have a wide spread sometimes, and unfortunately with this fill, I actually only got 1.9R on this particular trade, so it was a little bit less than the 2R I was hoping for, but still, made it for a decent open for myself. It obviously put me in the green. And then after that, I took a trade on LUV. So LUV, which is Southwest Airlines, sorry, let me just get this in the frame here. Okay, so you can see here on LUV, it basically pushed up, at the open, and then it just like MARA, it kind of failed at this, it failed and came back down. This time it was at the R3 level, and then it consolidated in this area here, and kind of set a bit of a range here. So I was watching it at this time, and I felt that if it broke below this range, it was already below the moving averages and the pre-market high, that I felt that it could be a short. So I went short at the break of that brief consolidation there. And you can see that it had some trouble here at the 200 SMA. Really created a tight consolidation area here, a bit of a pennant there. And then after that pennant, threw this upside down hammer and then sold off. And my profit target was right here. Just above S2. And I thought it was going, I thought it was on its way there. I thought after this tight consolidation, I usually find that it tends to run in the direction that it picks to go. I did think that it might consolidate and have a little bit of trouble here at previous day close, but I didn't think it was going to bounce. Unfortunately, it did bounce off of previous day close and came back and stopped me out at break even. So that unfortunately was a break even trade. Once this had sold off here, I'd move my stop loss to break even, because if it came back up and tested the R1 level, I didn't feel that this was going to be a good trade, because R1 was back above opening price, back above the 200 SMA and all the other moving averages. Okay, so the last trade of the day was on CCL. Let me pull that up here. And here on CCL, let's go to the 5-minute chart. You can see that there was a lot of these top wicks early on. It didn't really have a particular direction. If anything, you could probably peg this as a bit of a range that it was trading in. And when it bounced off of previous day close, like I saw quite a few stocks do, I was watching it to see if it would break out of this range. Now, it tightened up the range over here and set VPOC, and I felt that if it pushed above this 24, this is a pre-market high, and if I pushed above this 2410 level, I felt that it could be a long, and so I did that. I went long over here with a stop loss of I think it was around 2405. Yeah, somewhere around there. It was definitely below VWAP. And you can see it never came never came to test my my stop loss. It moved up, but you can see with all these wicks here, I was concerned about what was going to happen in this area. So what had happened, a couple things. I was going to take a partial early, and I did do that, but I made a mistake. I actually had a little hotkey error, and instead of taking a partial, which is this green candle, I ended up adding to the position. So I was like, but because it wasn't dropping at that point. I didn't take it off right away. I wanted to watch a bit, and I was letting this, at the time I was actually trading off the 1 minute chart. I waited till the top of the 1 minute candle to close, and it closed a little higher. So when it did that, I took 25% off the entire position at that point. And then you can see here, I did have some tight partials because on the 1 minute chart, it really had some trouble at this level, and I wasn't sure what it was going to do. So, I felt I was lucky with that hotkey error, so I didn't really want to give back any of the unrealized profits here. So I took several partials. All in all, this trade ended up being a 1.9R trade after all these partials. I didn't know if it was going to push, and you can see it just rejected off of R3 and came back down, at least at that time. With that put me at 2.75 R. We'll call it 2.7 R for the day. Here's the P&L, and I just felt, you know what? I already felt that the market may potentially be unfavorable to me, to my strategies today. I had already caught some decent winners, and I didn't want to push my luck, so I called it a day there. It was a solid green day, and hopefully we'll just continue to keep it up for the rest of the week. I don't want to jinx it, but that's 4 green days in a row for now, and hopefully we can keep the streak going. So that's it. That's all. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I hope you had a great trading day. And until the next recap, this is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust signing out. Cheers.